So we might as well get fired up. Dave's not coming, or we're not aware he's coming.
I haven't heard from
He
anybody.
says he may not even show up, but if he does, he's gonna be late.
It'll be later.
Okay.
Get basketball.
And you think Brian's coming via Zoom?
I know he is. He's gonna be doing the hazard mitigation presentation.
Common school planner time, what's that, Catherine?
That's the planning time. So we have the planning grant, the municipal planning grant that's covering those meetings that you're assigned, that you're participating in for the common school planning.
So that's the cost of the town?
That's the cost of NRPC facilitating that process for us to the town. And I've been charging it to the common school CD grant, CD
Yeah,
budget.
so that goes to NRPC?
It goes to NRPC,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's having trouble getting signed in, so.
Okay.
You must have a bill from.
That's a little pricey.
I was gonna say, how long are those meetings?
Regional planning.
Yeah.
How long are those meetings?
You know, I don't always get it, but you always get one too, so.
Yeah, we get a couple, oh, the increase in the
Rate.
rate, yeah, I
Yeah.
did get that, yeah, thank you.
How many have you
Yeah.
had? So they had to be.
Yep, they cover the bases.
How many have you had? They
That's the other
facilitated
expense.
or-
I don't know, that's $1,800. Yeah,
So you've had 5 meetings?
Want me to copy
well,
and
I don't
paste
know, it don't say.
send them
350
a
what?
link or
I
something?
did.
Oh, okay.
No, this is separate from the other one. Common school planner time,
Yeah, so it's written into the planning grant
yeah.
as them facilitating the process so that I'm
So the
not,
grant's gonna pay it back?
the grant's gonna pay it back.
Oh.
It's all
So
reimbursable.
when we finally get the grant,
Yeah, exactly.
we'll take the
Yeah.
cost out at that time.
Exactly. And at this point, the money that we're using is not coming from the general fund, it's coming from the CD account.
Yeah,
So the common school account has a CD. Right now, we're just charging it to that account. I'm waiting until the CD matures before we do a transaction, but
okay.
Okay, so let's get started.
Wait,
No,
Brian is
still
trying to
waiting for
get,
Brian?
so thanks for your patience. Charlie's not here. I think he's coming.
he said he
He
was.
said he was. So it looks like we have one member. Do you want me to pass around a sign-in sheet?
Are we gonna need to make an amendment to the agenda?
I don't believe for anything
Public to
at
be
this
heard, so
time.
it could fall under.
Yeah.
Looks like we have one member of the public who might want to present first.
That's what.
She was here first, so.
That doesn't matter.
Who doesn't, okay.
I think so.
Seems the
Yeah,
record of who's
I think
here.
so. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too.
So there you go.
Get Brian on board here.
Can I tell him we're gonna get started with it?
Yeah, if he isn't in the yank for us, so we can get him, get out of here.
Cold, get going, start my fire.
So yeah, I mean, we have a quorum, so we can go ahead and start.
Yeah.
And then that takes.
So
the
Kelly,
weight
do you wanna
off
start
Melissa.
first? Under
Sure, I
public to
don't
be heard?
know, I've never been here before, so
Yep,
I don't
come on
know what the
up.
process is.
Come on up, Linda, come on up.
Do I just go up to the table?
I think he has the right. No?
Hello.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So I'm just here about the extra fee.
For the late penalty payment
Well-
or whatever.
Right, I posted it on the 7th, it was in the mail in St. Albans on the 7th. Some reason they sent it to Hartford, Connecticut is where it was postmarked. I think you guys all know, I didn't put the stamp on in St. Albans and drive to Hartford, Connecticut to postmark it. I worked for an accounting firm for 42 years. The Internal Revenue Service acknowledges postage, dated postage meter labels, the Vermont Department of Taxes does. I genuinely thought I was being following the rules, doing it on time. I've paid taxes for 39 years. You guys have never seen me in this building. I'm not a complainer, I'm not a fighter. It
No,
just was
but we-
disheartening.
In honest, we've had this issue before with different people.
Not with me though.
Not with you,
Okay,
but with
thank
other
you.
taxpayers.
Okay,
And it's always been just the postmark on the outside of the envelope,
Sorry.
right?
Yeah.
Postmark
Yes.
by the post office for that date.
so I went on, it's the Postal Service website, and it clearly says that a postage meter dated stamp is legally binding as long as it meets the USPS regulations. Postage meter stamps are produced by postage printing machines, which is what we have to purchase
Yeah.
and load it with money, and do not require a postmark, as all necessary information is included on the meter strip.
Yeah,
I
that-
mean, I
that-
really didn't think of, why would I? I just wouldn't do that
I
for
mean,
one
we've-
day.
We've had the issue before, but not with a postal strip that I'm aware of. It's always been the outside was a stamp.
Right, and that's why I thought I was 100% legal.
Yeah.
I don't wanna waste your time,
Yeah.
that's not what I do, you know me better than that. I'm
All
just here
all I
because
can tell you is the years I've been on, we always went by that outside postage stamp. If it was,
but it doesn't always get postmarked by the post office if it's a metered label.
Yeah, it does. See, this is, you said you'd done it in the past like
Yeah.
that, but you did it the day before and it was
Right.
postmarked the day it was due. You did it the day before
Okay.
and was postmarked the day it was due. So it's
But
never
I
been
sent
an
it the day
issue.
before, but
But the-
not to.
But it's
to
never
cry-
been an issue
Not to
before.
cry a sad scene, I would have sent it the day before this year, however, I found myself being taken to the emergency room in an ambulance where I spent the whole day in the emergency room. Hence, I sent it out the day that I thought it was still legal, I wasn't worried, I'm not trying to, I don't wanna play on sympathies, however, there were extenuating circumstances this year. And I still thought I was legal.
the unfortunate part is, in my estimation, we've had others with similar, not similar, but different rationale why they were late.
Right.
And we've
But
never
wasn't
wavered on this postage mark.
Okay.
And I've been on 23, 24 years.
But are you actually talking about the metered label?
I mean, first time this one, I've seen the meter label thing. It's always been the stamp on the outside of the
Right.
envelopes.
Yeah.
So that's all I can go
But
by.
a stamp and a meter label, a metered stamp is the same thing, really.
It is postage, yes,
Yeah.
but what the postal service is saying is because we
Yeah.
have to go through certain procedures to get that meter.
But we
Like-
can't change our policy.
I'm not asking you to
Yeah.
change your policy whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm saying that on why they sent it to Hartford, Connecticut is beyond my knowledge. I have no idea. I dropped it off at the St. Albans Postal Service.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I
asking
think all
for
the
a
mail
one
goes-
time in 39 years.
I think
Trust
all the
me, it
mail
would
goes out
never-
and comes back like.
Pardon?
I think all the mail goes out like that,
Does it?
cost effective, just ship
I
it
said, I'm just
rather than keep it local.
If
asking
we
for
had
some
played
considerations.
such hardball with people before, it'd be more, but we've done it with everyone that's ever brought one before us.
Yeah.
We've stayed exactly as what we stated tonight.
So you're not gonna acknowledge that the United States Postal Service,
If it's stamped on the outside of the envelope, that's what we've gone with for the time I've been on here. And I don't know about you, Tom, but it's been the same, hasn't it?
Right? That's
all what we've
any
always
case
gone
we've
with.
always gone, we've gone by the,
And we've had other people that had issues and we held fast with our position. So I can't bring myself just to say, I understand where you're coming from, but we've been so firm about it and all the time I've been on. I just can't, say, well, I guess we can reverse it this one time, because then everyone else over the years could say, well, why the hell didn't you do mine?
okay.
So that's the way I'm looking at it, cause it just, long-term fairness.
domino effect or.
But why, I mean, like, so if the Internal Revenue Service and the Vermont Department of Taxes acknowledges it, they've never once given anybody a late filing in my 42 years
Yeah,
by using those labels that are dated, printed, and all of the necessary information on there.
I can only tell you how we've done it.
I
It's been
know
over that
what you're
time
saying,
period.
but what I'm asking is, in any situation, was it based on the postage printed meter?
No, it was on envelopes,
On envelopes.
stamped on the envelopes, right? Am I mistaken on
Yeah.
that? No, I didn't think so. I thought it
No,
was
it's always been, we've always gone by the postage.
Oh, you're
stamp.
talking he was asking, I think
Yeah.
you were asking about stamps or meter
Right,
label.
but that's what we've always gone by in all the time I've been
It's
on
a
it.
US postmark.
And we've had 2 or 3 instances before, and it was, the thing didn't get stamped by whatever day it was acquired. One time it was closer to Thanksgiving time, 25th, I think,
Yeah.
November, for years. Then we moved it back to the 1st, so there'd be less confusion and everything near.
It wouldn't fall on a holiday and
Yeah.
it would always be a Friday so that it didn't, there wasn't a confusion that if it was due on a certain day and it fell on the weekend, it was due on a Monday. Everything was due on that Friday, and if it wasn't postmarked that Friday, then it was delinquent.
I don't know what more to tell you, Kelly. I mean, we've done it
I-
for so long that
Yeah.
I just don't feel like you.
I don't
personally,
feel that
can-
I was in the wrong, I really don't. I was doing everything based on my professional career, where we've always acknowledged the dated postal meter. So I'm finding it hard to believe that the town of town of Fairfield is of higher significance than the Internal Revenue Service and the Vermont Department of Taxes, but apparently it is.
Well, if we hadn't used that criteria in my mind for this long, and that's all we've gone with.
But did you ever,
We never had-
did you ever broach the whole subject of a postage meter label?
Nope, because we never had it
So-
happen
so then-
occur
Yeah, but you
before.
could do a posted meter label and send it 5 days later, right?
No, because if the postal service gets it, then they have to, they're not gonna take a post dated label. You
Not a post-dated label.
Well, a label, and then you
Yeah.
held it and mail it 5 days later, they're gonna stamp it.
Yeah.
No, they'll.
Right, and that would have a postmark.
They would have a postmark.
That
They
would
would
have a
have- yeah, that's
postmark
what I
the
meant.
day they
Right,
receive it.
Right, but
If it's
because,
in the mail on the day that it says, they do not have to postmark it.
but they don't postmark anything locally anymore unless you physically ask them to.
Okay, well, I guess I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
So any of them are that way now? That they have to be,
Yeah, I put the notice on the door the day, when I close the office, on the day the taxes are due, that the office is closed, only postmarks for that day are accepted, and that you have to go into the post office and get it postmarked. There are people,
Okay, I respect that you do it, but you don't put that on the bill, doesn't say.
there's not enough room on the,
Right.
to say that. Postmarks has always meant that
Right.
postmark.
But
It's
in-
never been sliced out like this before.
Okay, so, but in my professional career, postmark is the dated label.
But they will take it because I get return envelopes with the poster meters on them all the time to send documents back that the label's been on there 2 weeks sometimes
Right,
before it goes
right.
back.
so the things in the mail, you're saying all that?
Yeah, I'm like, postage is paid on an envelope to send recordings back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something to look into, but we can't do it.
I'm just
overnight.
talking for myself. I know how you gentlemen
No,
feel.
I don't think we can vary from the policies that we have. Yeah.
We've had it that long, and this is the first time we had trouble with the postage meter thing.
Right, and that's why I'm asking for
Yeah.
at least you guys to look into it, because this isn't a normal situation, it's not.
We've actually
That's-
had
stamp.
looked into it.
Those are new
It's-
things now, so. it's
Our,
something we
our
can look
policy is a
into.
postage stamp from the post office and it's posted late. So
Your policy, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
from Fairfield, the policy is the postmark from the post office, not from your stamp, from the post office.
Okay, so, unless we are made to know that you hold a different regulation than standard postal procedure, how are we as taxpayers
We've always
supposed to
done
know?
that, right?
I know, we've
Nothing-
always
it's
done that,
nothing
but I'm
new.
saying unless you let us as taxpayers know that your requirements and regulations are different than the standard US
It
postal.
does say postmark, and most people would take that as, postmarks means postmark from a post office
Right.
is
But
the,
a printed postage meter label is a postmark as far as the United States Postal Service is considered. They accept that as postmark.
All I know is myself is done it this long. Other people have been held to that same standard.
They haven't been held to the standard about the dated
this,
postage
no.
meter label. That's what I'm trying to bring to your attention
yeah.
to
And I'm saying-
give consideration that this is a different situation than other things.
And I think, posted meter things, there's something new, we can.
They're
look-
not new, they've been around for years.
Yeah, but
We've had them
it's-
for,
Well, we haven't changed that, as far as I know, since I've been on, we haven't
No.
changed that, had to be postmarked
by the post-
outside on the envelope by the said date required.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the way it's been, always the way I always understood it, because I know just our own taxes to get them over here in time. We just bring them over simply because, especially now with the post office, we've had some bills that come up late because they didn't get them, they didn't ship them out, and they didn't get them when we sent them to them.
I'm not asking you to change your policy, I'm asking you to look at this as a unique situation, which it is. Trust me, I think you know it will never happen again. Jesus Christ. I'm, like I said, the fact that you've never seen me in here before complaining about a
Yeah.
single thing in this town, I think you could look at what I'm telling you is I mean, you guys know that I did not bring that envelope to Hartford, Connecticut to get it postmarked.
Yeah.
It was in the mail on the 7th, traveled to Hartford, Connecticut.
I do have other people that brought stuff to the post office on the 7th as well, and it went to Connecticut, and they've had to pay the fee. So this is,
With this same thing, with a dated postage meter label.
no, but they took it to the post office and didn't realize they had to get it postmarked.
Right.
And they
They
called.
physically
But
had to
they
go in the
didn't
bill.
have a date on that stamp. They did not have the
But
legal date.
it's this, it's,
Still.
It's not the same, Linda, you know it's not. When the label prints from the postage meter, it has the license number, the zip code, where it was from, the date it was sent. Everything is on there. United States Postal Service regards that as a postmark.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. We haven't for as long as I've been on here. It was always a posted envelope stamped on the outside of the envelope.
And that's what a dated printed.
This is what
postage
we've
meter
used
label.
for that criteria. I don't know how long it's been, but definitely since I've been on the select board, it was always that.
I respect what you're saying, David. I'm asking you guys to look, I mean, there are different situations
you work for the
in
postal service.
this situation.
What is your opinion on these things?
I
You never had to do
I
these.
never had anything, I mean, you can run a postage meter and keep it for a week and then mail it.
Right.
So
You actually
That's what I'm
can't.
saying.
They will,
I personally know that you can.
oh, I've never done that.
Yeah.
You could, I'm not saying you did, I'm just saying you
It's
could.
clear that I did,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it went from St. Albans on the 7th to
They all-
Hartford, Connecticut in
they-
one day.
Yeah, they always do.
You can't backdate it,
Everything
but you
goes
can,
to
you can
Harvard.
actually stamp it and send it 7 days later.
You can.
Yeah.
If you're a dishonest person, yes, you
We
can.
know that, we
No
know
one's
that.
saying
That's
you're
our,
serious.
that's
No
the,
one's
people.
saying you're doing that. No one's saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that the meter strip,
Right, but what I'm
Doesn't-
saying is, it was clearly in
Yeah,
St. Albans
I
on the
get
7th. I mean, it's evident. So,
I get it.
no chance that you're gonna reconsider this or
I
look into
I
it
wouldn't do it
further?
because of all the ones we've done in the past that we've held to the same standard.
You just don't want to listen to what I'm saying. It's not the same as in the past.
yeah, it is.
It's not, but, I'm not gonna fight with you. You guys have your own little.
Could you clarify it for next year or the year after?
What's that? They should. There was absolutely no explanation on there that standard United States Postal Service is not acknowledged by the town of Fairfield.
Just so far, the way I've understood it, the way it was always policy, because I've been in here before when people come in, we had it before.
I'm not saying it's not
And
the
but most
policy,
people don't have
Gavin. I'm not-
most people don't have a meter. They don't.
Exactly.
Most of them don't do it through a business meter.
Exactly. But if that's considered a postmark by the USPS, why isn't it considered a postmark by the town of Fairfield? And show me somebody else that had this exact same scenario with the dated postage meter label.
I can't because I don't see all of them coming in.
We don't have that problem. People put their stamps on and put it in the mail.
Yeah.
And that's.
So you don't get many metered.
We don't get them, if we do, they're from because the escrows come FedEx or, they come ahead of time. This isn't something that happens.
Right, so that's why I'm just trying to bring a situation to your attention and point out that this is an isolated incident.
Yeah.
This is not, I mean, it was brought on time. As far as the US Postal Service is concerned, it was there on time.
Gentlemen, what do you wanna do?
Like you said,
You
we
can-
had the power, we can,
Change the policy in the future, but you can't change it now. You can say now you accept metered strips after, but they have to be, I don't know enough about metered
I'm
strips
not
to
saying you
say
need to
anything.
change it for the future. I think
Okay.
it just needs to be made more clear to us taxpayers. And I'm bringing to light a situation that happened this year that absolutely was unpreventable.
Yeah. I mean, is it possible to put something on your tax bill? Is there room enough?
There's very little room, they can tweak it next year to say, I mean, you say,
I think
if you put US postmarks, is that going to be something?
You
There's
could
no,
do manual US postmarks.
there's not this basically, even though it looks like there's room, this is all you could fit here on this.
he'd have to put a little insert.
Well, then there's, I mean, it's either you accept postmarks or you don't accept postmarks. Simple,
Yeah,
simple as that.
yeah.
Cause
It says postmark.
it does say postmark, but it's,
But my argument is what I did is considered a USPS postmark.
I don't think so.
I don't know why you don't think so.
That's a stamp.
It's, oh my God, you're so, you really are gonna say that's not a stamp? You
That's a
can't say
stamp.
that. It is a postage meter
Right.
label, printed
I know,
with
I've
a
used
date.
them all the
A
time.
stamp doesn't have a
I've
date
used them
on it.
all my life, yeah.
Yeah, but you know
But I
that
could
that has
run
a
a
date
postage
on it.
meter on an
I
envelope and
understand
send
that
it-
you
Send it
could.
7 days later.
Well, I have integrity. I work in an
I
accounting
know, I
firm, and
understand
we,
that.
by no stretch of the imagination, would ever print a label and mail it 2 days later or 5 days later.
Yeah, no.
We have integrity, I have
totally
honor,
agree.
and I
Yeah.
am a professional.
No? I know that, but we gotta keep a policy to the whole town. We
It is a
can't do it for
policy.
one person.
A printed postage meter label is considered a postmark.
No.
It is. Do your research. It is considered a postmark.
We could change our policy and say everything has to be in the office at that date. Period.
If that's how you, I mean, for one
Well, that's a lot of
single
towns, that's what they
incident.
do.
No, I'm not saying that they
Yeah.
don't. I'm saying, why would you want to be that aggressive with a
You gotta,
one-time
you gotta
simple
have some, you gotta have some
situation?
line of demarcation where this is the policy, this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not postmarked, it's delinquent.
But it is
Simple as
postmarked.
that. It's not postmarked. It's postmarked the 8th.
Can anybody help me out here? I mean, you know what I'm saying, don't you?
I'm not involved with any of the accounts receivable.
That sounds receivable.
I know,
It's
I do, I
it's
just do.
Considered just procedure is what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
and they're, I work for them, so they direct me to make decisions as they need me to.
Right.
So if they'd like me to
Linda,
look
you
into
don't-
something, I can.
this is the town policy, I follow their policy.
But I did follow policy.
So they would direct a next step,
Okay.
and it sounds like they're directing a next step of hold the course. That's what I'm hearing. And if they were to make a different decision, then we would go and do that decision. So that's the process that we're in right now.
So you're just gonna hold steady, you're still gonna charge me that fee?
We've done it to everybody in the past, I personally wouldn't change it now, for one.
No.
Consider, I did
got
everything,
stuck
I did
myself once.
everything by the book.
I got caught once with it, so I know what it's like, and that never happened again, on our part, so,
Trust me, if I had known, it wouldn't have happened this time.
yeah.
I was under the complete assumption that you guys honored the same rules and regulations that the Internal Revenue Service, the Vermont Department of Taxes, and the USPS acknowledge.
I just, like I say, we've done it this way. I mean, Ron's suggestion with some other, I know other towns do that, but it's not in the building by the set date. Doesn't matter if it shows up in the mail, timestamped, whatever it is, it doesn't count. So it's still delinquent. So maybe that's the way we need to do it, make it simpler all around on everybody. I don't know. I'm open to ideas on it, but I'm not gonna change what happened in this year's tax bill. Not the number of people we've had before, we had to hold the same line accountable for.
You're choosing not to listen to what I'm saying.
I understand what you're talking about, your meter. I don't use meters, never have used them. Ron's had a lot of experience with meters. I have none whatsoever.
Right. But what I'm saying, I understand what he's saying,
Yeah.
that dishonorable people would hold it back and mail it in. Obviously, I did not do that and would not do that. And what I'm saying is, I brought that to the post office with the understanding that I was filed timely, dated properly, and followed all USPS regulations. The fact that they stamped it in Hartford, Connecticut, I would have no knowledge of that or how it would have happened.
Neither would anybody else that put the thing in the mail, even if it had a stamp on it. They wouldn't have any knowledge either, so.
Right. Well, a
the
stamp
same
has no
thing.
date.
It's
No,
the
it's
same-
not.
same
It
thing.
is not.
Yeah, it is.
A stamp, a postage meter stamp, or a postage stamp that you buy has absolutely no date, no nothing on that.
No.
This is dated and printed.
But it doesn't mean that you have to send it that day.
But you know that it was. Linda knows that it was.
I'm not saying that.
I
I'm
think
just
you're
saying.
just, you're
the
just
same
being
as a stamp.
extremely close-minded and not looking at this
No,
isolated.
we just
incident.
can't change the policies.
I'm not asking you to change the policy. I'm asking you to look at the facts, that it was done on time. And postage meter labels are considered legally binding.
Our policy is postage stamp, what is stamped.
And it doesn't say postage stamp. It says
when at the
postmark.
post office,
My label
postmark.
from my postage meter
No,
machine
no,
is a
postmark,
postmark.
when was it postmarked?
It was dated the 7th,
No,
November, it was
when was
dated
it
the 7th.
postmarked from the post office?
In Connecticut?
Yeah.
On the 8th.
Okay,
So,
that's the case, that's the issue. Yeah.
people are, oh. I wanna thank you all for your time.
Anybody else want water?
I'm all set, thanks. I mean, that's something to look into, I mean, I suppose it's legal, but we have to look into it, but. I think
You can't
you open up
change
a can of
after the
worms.
fact, in my mind. If you change it for next year or something, okay, but I don't think you can change it for 2025.
Not for one, unless you do it for all.
Yeah.
Right, that's
You
what I
got
said.
Everyone that you've ever held to the fire. It's not fair to people that have done it that long.
You can clarify it for next year.
You can clarify.
It's fairly clear.
It's pretty clear. Maybe it needs to be put on there. Envelopes have to be postmarked stamped by the post office. If it's possible to put it in.
Put it in, so.
Postmarks dated November 3rd are accepted, like it's pretty darn clear.
Yep. So. And it's not the first time we've gotten into this. Not with the postage meter. That's the first time I've been around that one. Okay, so.
Move on.
Yep. Sarah, you got your budget presentations? Excuse me.
So just clarify that, Brian texted me and he said the board is right. It's gotta be postmarked
Okay.
from the post office.
What does he say?
He agrees.
He agrees with the board.
Okay.
Well, then, I guess you put, make sure it's in the minutes.
Let me just say, I looked it up, and just to spare the long explanation, it says, it says that the boards, what you just articulated is in fact, according to the resources that I just looked up, and I can read them, but I just want to affirm that the board is correct, unless it states otherwise, or unless the postmark date is the same date the post meter date is. In this case, that is not the case. So the long and the short of it is the board is correct.
Well, that's good to have some backup information, Brian. Thank you.
Brian, Sarah just handed out her budget and I'm gonna text the pages to you.
All right, now for some happier stuff. We've got good news from the
Hey,
library.
that picture looks pretty warm.
There's no snow.
It's
in
not that
Brian's
warm up
picture.
here.
Yeah. All right, so here we are to present the proposed 2026 library budget to you. So I've handed Brian, Kathy just sent you the 2 pages, I presume. So yeah, no, the overall the library is cranking right along. Visits and usage continue to grow. We're up 10% again. We had more visits by mid-November than we had in all of 2024. So we are really, really, really the hub of the community. We've got tons of visits, tons of use. Events and programs, story hour is just absolutely hopping. We always fill the space for that. So, and you know, more hours, more programs, more attendance in towns that are larger than us. So it's really, really, really going well. We've had another great year at the library. So now as far as looking at what we've proposed for the 2026 budget, going up slightly as all budgets tend to do. That's primarily driven by inflation, by the need for new computers this year across the board. We've got some additional landscaping expenses, that's one small thing, but we've also, got increased staff costs, including some pay increases, some more staff hours, and insurance changes as is happening in your budget too. So the overall budget is actually going up 7%. If you look at the bottom line of the revenue and expenses, I know it says 13%, but that's because we're accounting for funds a little differently this year. So I'll explain that in a bit. I'll walk you through a few other things first. So overall, it's actually 7%. But just a reminder that there was no budget increase at all from 2024 to 2025 as far as our tax ask. The overall budget increased, but our tax ask remained completely a 0% change from 2024 to 2025. We kept it absolutely level as far as tax revenue requested. This year, we are asking for a really small increase of only $3,841. That's only 3% of the tax request. That gets us from last year's kind of odd number of $136,159 to a nice, even pleasing $140,000 with just a very small change. So just to point out that the overall budget is a little over $219,000, but the tax ask is only $140,000. That's only $64,000 of the library's overall budget. 64% of the library's total overall budget. We're getting 36% of our needs covered by donations, grants, and the investment account revenues. Just want to point out to you that statewide for municipal libraries, the median for that percentage is 81%, and the average is, median's 85%, and the average is 81. So we're only asking for 64% of our budget to be covered by the town's taxpayers, much less than most municipal libraries do. Because we're in that really enviable position that we've got other resources that we can
I was
use.
gonna say, most of them don't have about a $2 million endowment.
Exactly. So that's why we do it this way. So we're, in order to reduce the pressure on the
Is
taxes.
this the last year of your payments on that building?
No, the next year is. So this year, we still part of the, if you see there's a bold number, that's $60,000, $60,237.
Yeah.
That number is what we hopefully can take less of, but that we are currently planning on taking out of the endowment. That's actually $10,600 more than the 2025 earnings are estimated to be. But if we have a good year of we're gonna knock on some wood, of not very many repairs and that sort of thing, hopefully we won't have to take that total out. Because we did budget last year to take out 38,000 from the endowment and still only took out the amount of the mortgage. So what you see in the white column, the 2025 anticipated, that 32,168, that's the mortgage. So we will need to pay that again in 2026 and once more in 2027, and then the mortgage will be paid off. So we've also been utilizing, in this past year, we utilized interest from our Wallace CD and our Wanzer CDs. And so we do have, we had some bumps in those that we hadn't been pulling from those for a few years. So we pulled more from them, and now we have to keep a certain baseline amount in those, and budgeted to take out that amount, the amount of earnings that we're allowed to. So to explain the difference between why I'm saying the budget's going up 7%, but it says 13 is in the Friends gift line in the revenue section. The Friends have sometimes given an amount to, that they gift that's used for things outside of the budget. We've never actually put it in a budget line before. This time we've been having discussions with them on new processes for how they distribute the disbursements of the funds that they hold. So for 2026, they already know that from past years they can add $11,600 to the revenue lines of the budget. But I would just want to point out that there is a line in the expenses, Friends expense on the second page, where that just comes directly out, because all of that pays for things that are outside of the normal budget expenses. So it doesn't have a net effect on the budget, except that it makes it look like the budget just jumped up by $11,600. That's
Is
why.
that where it looks like you had an 18% increase in your operating expense?
Right, because that 11,600 is included in the expense line for that.
So that's really a wash,
It's a wash, it's an in and the revenue's out and the expenses. But it just makes the overall, instead of the overall budget being 193, the overall budget's 219. So like I said, 7% is actually the meaningful amount that the budget's actually increasing. But again, only 3% increase in the tax ask. So I just monologued for a long time. Is there any questions about anything that stands out to you, things that you see?
What about the tech equipment services? That seems like
That's the one jumping because we need all new computers this year. The Windows 10 sunset has hit them all, so we need 8 new desktops and 3 new laptops. I did purchase two desktops and a laptop this year with funds that we had left over from this year, but we'll need to use some of that. That's again why the investment account revenue looks like it's going to be a more pull from there.
Well, I'm sure there's some that will look at it and start seeing 13, 18% and not understand it, I can tell you that.
Sometimes it's percentages of, they're small numbers, but so it's not an actual, like a $200 change can give you a 13% change.
But when your total budget has an 18% change in your expenditures, that's where some are just, that don't take the time to try to know it. You're in and out from the Friends Hub. There'll be someone saying, what the hell's 18%?
Right.
Just from our own budget, we know how people look at this stuff.
they look at the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right. And without somebody here explaining, well, there's almost 12,000 that, is just behaving differently in this than it has in the years past.
I just want to point out that as I attend your meetings and the amount of work that you're going through with the Friends group to clarify and put together an MOU and come up with a calendar, and every year, they give like 10 or more, or maybe a little less, $1,000, and always looks. It's always in the budget, but not in the budget, but in the expenses at the end of the year. I'm hoping, it seems like if you put it in the budget as instead of 0 with, a gain of, you budget 0 and then you get 10,000.
Right.
I'm hoping that moving forward after this year, it'll just be more transparent. It's a good, and I know that that's been your goal
Right.
to have,
Especially when we shift the timeline,
right?
so that we have a better understanding in November what we can expect from them
Right.
versus not really knowing until
Yeah,
January.
you guys never do.
Right, because when you look at the 2025 budget for the Friends gift, it said 0, and then we got $10,100. So as far as, exactly, of people understanding what it actually takes to do the business that the library is doing, it's a clearer reflection of what's actually going on to put them actually in that revenue line and the expense line. And so, I agree, it's got that big jump. Next year, it wouldn't, because next year it would be behaving similarly.
Yeah, and Gavin is right. It's that presentation that you have to make to try to, he's so right about the 13%. Like, people just get so at the bottom line about everything. So
It looks like 18%,
Yeah.
just according to this, it was,
Right.
I'm telling you from
Right.
past experience, right, Tom? They can,
yeah,
you
As I
can,
said, they look at the bottom one.
yeah.
Well, so hopefully they'll look at that top line where it's, $3,800 different to a taxpayer. I hear you, because I have to plan on how to explain it to you. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're gonna see that number 13 right there on the front page and be like, wait, what? And it's, like I said, if it said 7 instead, you might still raise your eyebrows, I suppose. But that's what it effectively is for.
The salary expense, is that just raises, is that more hours, or,
It's a combination. So,
so there's more hours in there?
yes, so in the assistant salary line is not just one person, it's a combination
Oh,
of
I
the
know
other
that,
staff. And so it is both, still working toward getting them up to, the level that they could get in other towns and
Yeah.
other
So you-
libraries, plus some more hours.
Some more hours?
Yeah, because they're both very part-time.
Yeah.
And again, with the visits that keep increasing and the business that keeps growing, that's just, it puts a lot of pressure on, especially in those after-school hours. It's really, really tough to staff that place with one person when there's 45 kids after school. So it's, a matter of right-sizing the staff time to the
But it's not like
actual-
you're giving everybody a 5% raise?
No. Well, I don't have those numbers in front of me as far as
Yeah, okay.
the percentage of those raises are concerned.
I'm just thinking about our town guys, we're not gonna give them 5% raise probably, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of it's trying to get the salaries up to, it's not at the average,
Yeah.
it's still below that, but getting closer
Yeah,
to
I
that.
know, but you know what, these guys are the same way.
Listen,
Yeah.
I understand that. The hospital isn't getting any raises this year.
They gotta save up for the school tax.
The hospital does.
That's what everybody.
Yeah, I know,
And
no
they
raises
cut
for us.
12%.
No gift cards in the mail this year. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just Googled the average librarian salary in Vermont. Mid-60s to low 70s.
And none of us are anywhere close to that.
don't look at the town administrators.
Right.
Yeah, it was hard to go by that when you got Chittenden County and,
Yeah, so what we've gone by is similarly sized, similarly
Right,
visits.
yeah.
Sarah
I think we're
borrows the
still just
VLCT as well, the VLCT workbook that they do every year they show the size of the municipality and then they set the salaries and the location all at the, sort of in the same binder, so I know you do some due diligence there.
Town admin, 80 to 127.
No, I told you not to go there, it's a whole thing.
I was gonna say it louder.
It's not good.
Well, is there any questions you guys have got on this?
So So really, the taxes is 3%?
3%, $3,800, that's all
Yeah.
we're asking for
No,
more
I'm
from
good
last
with- I'm
year.
good with that.
And like I said, last year we were 0%.
Right,
So
you're level it last
we
year.
level funded it last year, and this year we're only asking for $3,800 more dollars. So, while giving more service, so
Yeah.
it seems like a.
Sarah, just a little thought is, you got it there as your line number 1, 3%. But it would help when you do your presentation to have it, in fact, a bottom line impact on the taxpayers. To draw that out, I mean, I'm not telling you how to do your job, but when you go down to, the bottom line should say impact to the taxpayers, 3%. You understand what I'm saying?
So there is some,
Make it
just as
visual
a,
is what he's saying.
yeah, just as an aside in terms of the drafting process for the book, we do have the same the same format as the town budget, which shows that at the bottom line. The
Okay,
cost to the
okay.
taxpayers is pretty clear.
Right, because we're tied into how this is structured, right?
Yeah, it's the same numbers, but it's formatted so that it goes into the book and it has the cost to the taxpayer and then the cost of other revenue and then the total amount of the budget, the full budget.
So you're saying when I stand up at town meeting is when I should
Yeah.
hammer that home and say nothing about 13% and say it's only 3.
Technically,
That
when
is
you
the
do
bottom
town
line for
meeting,
most
it's too late because a
Yeah.
lot of it's going
That's the
through.
bottom line for
A lot
me.
of them come in after her,
Yeah.
so
Right, I mean,
it would-
Yeah.
not on.
Where the rest
floor,
of it comes
I would
from.
say, I guess, you know.
doesn't really matter,
No.
right? So yeah, I mean, the story is, we're doing great business, we're buying new computers, we're adding staff hours, we're adding programming, and we're asking for 3% more to do that.
And it's great to
But
see.
you're using more of your money out of the endowment.
Yeah, it's great. I was just gonna
I
say
mean,
it's
you
great to
can't
see
just
that.
act like, yeah, we're doing all this, it's coming out. And there's still some people that, from when the thing was started, got some feelings this thing was supposed to
Right.
self-sustain itself.
Yep.
There's a bunch of them, no matter what you do, they're still gonna go with that argument.
Yeah.
So.
And we're very
And we
thoughtful
need
about
to
how we do
acknowledge
that.
that, you know, that you're using more out of the endowment.
Well, it's got
Yeah,
more
is it-
earnings though.
And more earnings, but it's more as time goes on. That you're gonna use some of this earnings to do some of your programs.
Yeah.
I think that's something they need to acknowledge. To
I
keep
think-
some of, well, I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yep, yep.
For some folks that are still like, this thing was supposed to cost us nothing. And they still get that mindset. So I'm just saying,
Back up and, what did you just say? This
it
thing was,
wasn't supposed to be an expense to the town when it first started.
okay,
It was supposed to,
I mean, that was their big sale pitch when they
Yeah.
started all this.
and that's
Yeah.
where there's still a lot of people that actually go and vote at town meeting that still got that in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people thought that it was to pay for the library building.
then
And some
all this-
people thought that it was to pay for the library.
Yeah.
It was like that one word
yeah,
got mixed up somewhere in the
Well, it
water.
wasn't, that's what they said when they made their presentation at the meeting. I was at all those meetings.
Right. So
Well,
it
That
was
was
just
their
sort
big
of a-
pitch, was it was gonna be self-sustaining and
and hopefully that is, as long as we don't, as long as that margin doesn't go, cause I remember I was on the board, I don't know, maybe not 10 years ago, but we had companies come in and say, if you keep taking out of the endowment at your current rate by, I think it was 2037,
Your endowment's gone.
0. And so how can we sustain that and continue to grow that so that down the road, we're asking for even less and less and less? Which is why we're going with the rolling 3-year average
Right.
in terms of funds.
Right. And we're in a little bit of a weird transition phase where we, we're so close to that mortgage getting paid off. And so next year, it might look very similar to this. And then the year after that, all of a sudden, we've got an extra $32,000 to not
That's a year you
be.
better do some repairs to that building if they're needed and required. I mean, really, that's what you should be, that year there, what you ought to be doing is, what have we delayed maintenance on this building? And say, you know what, we really need to address, because the building will be old by that point,
It's 15 now.
15. So you get close to 20 years, you have to start replacing some furnaces or
Yeah.
air conditioning units or something.
And Sarah's done a
Side
fantastic
one,
job
yes.
of putting together spreadsheet with everything that, well, it's probably more like this, everything that needs to be repaired.
Yeah.
Or everything in the building that we, and then looking at, okay, so the roof is, 30 years, 40 years, I don't know. So we need to be thinking about replacing the carpets, the windows, the furnace,
The
everything.
roof
that
should go
needs-
a long time. It's a standing seam roof, so
Yeah,
that's not your biggest worry.
That's our,
It's your tiling
Yeah.
and carpeting and fixtures
Yeah.
and those kinds of things that are gonna.
We've spent the year doing a long-range planning process, and looking at all of those kinds of things in the different areas, to try to look 5-10 years out at least. And have been definitely having those kinds of discussions too. Yeah. The endowment, nobody knows what markets are gonna do. It's been going well, and we have been extraordinarily conservative and only taken out the amount of the mortgage for many, many years, including this past year. So it's solid and strong, and I think, just as time goes on, just as Susan described, I think it's gonna get, more and more
I'm
helpful.
glad it's well used, that's a big.
I said, I'd rather have you come in and say, we gotta change the tiles in that entryway, because they're worn through. Then have a nice, beautiful building nobody uses.
Oh, it's used.
Cindy and I use it all the time, so it's.
Me and Theo, he loves the library.
It's beautiful. It's such a great building. Great staff.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to present? Because we wanna get out of here before it gets.
Before it gets colder.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your presentation.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you just have to get your little people around before town meeting and tell them it's only
Explain it all really well before town meeting.
$3,000.
Get a sign.
Okay, all right.
Visual aids.
Good advice. Thanks.
Mr. Mishi,
Guess I want to see this too.
come right up.
Okay, well, I'm Charlie Maisha. I'm the president of the Historical Society. I took over for Tori around the end of August. So Tori had said that the Historical Society was going to be shut down if somebody didn't take it over, and so I'm originally from Fletcher. I do have some family history in Fairfield. I do some genealogy stuff, and so it's really interested in me, in that respect, to learn more about Fairfield and to support the Historical Society. So, that being said, it's been a bit dormant for a while, and Tori said it's kind of like a one-man show sometimes if other folks aren't really involved in things. So on the one hand, it's kind of like, I would like some company, but on the other hand, it's kind of like, well, I have a lot of freedom to do projects, a lot of leeway to create things. So my day job is working at the UVM Medical Center, and I do have a side degree in web design. So the first thing I did when I took things over is I took a look at what they had for a website, and there wasn't one. The web address had been bought by an online casino company, so there wasn't an online casino when you try to go to the website. So that was the first order of business, is to get a new web address, get a new website up. That was the first expense proposal, was maybe $150 for 4 years of web hosting. So the main expense is the web developer, which I volunteer, so it works out good that way. So let's see, Terry Lesperance joined when I did, and is interested in being involved with things. When I mentioned the projects I'm interested in, I'd really like to digitize more of the materials we have downstairs so we can have things available on our website. The past couple years, I've actually really been interested in seeing the museum and stuff downstairs, but it didn't seem to be open to the public. So I kind of joined the Historical Society so I could actually go down and see it. And so when I mentioned stuff like scanning in documents, there's some old ledgers from the Isham Hotel from the 1800s that I've started scanning in to make it searchable on the website, and you look at the person's, signature from the book and stuff. So I've started working on some of that stuff. Tori he's interested in helping out a little bit, but I think he's, maybe still taking a break for a little bit. We have 8 board members on the email list. I haven't heard from half of them when I've sent emails, so I'm just going with the projects that are alive for me. I know that Jane had volunteered, I think it was beginning of September, at an event at the school carriage house. I think she had a table for the Historical Society. So we have people, just not people that are very busy with their lives, I guess. So been working on website stuff. Let's see. So I did, because I had wanted to make the space downstairs, I'm just there's so many displays that Tori made, and I just think, there's so much effort that went into that, and, I don't think anyone even goes down there. So I did make like a little kind of 3D kind of virtual tour thing, so you can look at the cases and what's inside. So I thought, at least then people could take a peek at it. So that was one of my little projects I did. And I'm also looking for like family history stuff. I'm very much into local Irish history, and I'd really like to gather up, family histories and things. I tried, asking on the Facebook group if anybody, would connect for interviews or to share things, but haven't had any bites yet. But I'm gonna try Front Porch Forum soon, and I think it has a much broader audience.
You just need to talk to Tom.
Huh?
He can tell you the whole story.
Tom,
yeah.
Tom Horgan.
Yep, I bet. I did, I'll just show you one fun thing. One thing I wanted to do is to map out where all the Irish families of Fairfield came from. So I did make this on the website, and it's linked to the Find a Grave website for the actual people that came over. You can just, tap one of these links here. There we go. And you can just, tap on the person's name, and there you get their gravesite and stuff. So, so it's just been one of those fun things I've been working on.
Are all your items downstairs?
What's that?
Are all your historic items downstairs?
Yeah, there's the downstairs kind of museum space. It still has a box of stuff that hasn't even been cataloged yet. And then there's a vault downstairs with some other, some other old books and things stored in there.
So we don't have an MOU or some type of a document with the Historical Society around how to access that room. And I know that you were talking a little bit about wanting to do something on the weekend, and we don't have a key. The Historical Society doesn't have a key to this building. And they also, don't have access to the security and all that. So it sounded like a next step that you were thinking about was trying to figure out if you can have an open to the public time. But we, as it is right now, anybody who goes down there would have to have somebody with them, and we don't have staffing or volunteers that are actively doing that right now. For at the town level.
Yeah.
So Project Sweet Talk did several years in a row where they interviewed farmers, sugar makers, and then they displayed them at Project Sweet Talk, which is part of the school in the springtime. So it's like a family history, living history. They did that, I think, maybe for 2, maybe 3 years. I know they did Loretta and Kathleen, maybe. I think they did.
All the grades did this? It was all grades or just a specific
Well,
grade?
it's really, I think, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, so, and 8th grade, so like each grade has a different project. So one year it was, my daughters and Maggie, Tiffany interviewed Loretta and maybe Kathleen and Teresa Manahan. And I think they did Linda's father. So they did a bunch of different old sugar makers, and it was a video. that they did as part of Project Sweet Talk.
Mhm.
So that would be really cool.
Yeah.
If there was like some sort of link to,
Sure. I
from the
can
school.
add things to the website or.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah.
But I know, I haven't seen necessarily anything from the Historical Society recently, but I do have a James Horrigan, so one of Dick's distant relatives put together a family history, like a family tree and family history from, I think it was 1832 all the way up to 1976, and we got it from Deacon Gabe. And so I put that together, I just had them do it like 12 booklets, so one of those could be going to,
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely looking for that kind of.
yeah, that
material.
kind of stuff.
You know who's got a lot of Irish history? What Robbie Rooney and Mike King did that genealogy.
You need to come up here and show us.
Yeah. But they claim most of the Irish in Franklin County came from County Louth. And
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, most all said it was sort of like the Vietnamese when they came over in the fishing boats. Everybody came over from County Louth,
well,
which is just below Northern Ireland.
that big cluster right there is
Yeah.
County Louth. It's the smallest county in all of Ireland.
That is a
Or-
really cool interactive map. Did you just do this recently?
Oh yeah, yeah, and I
That's
can keep
so
adding more
great.
in as
Good for
I,
you. Cool.
find out things.
Well,
but-
you know, they all come over during the potato famine.
And Dad's family came over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they all,
So my mom's family came over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Not
dads.
related to anyone in Fairfield, but.
Huh?
Well, a few years ago, probably 25 years ago, this guy showed up one day. He was from California. And Grandpa Ryan had 3 brothers, and one of them was Robin Lawrence's dad. And then this brother, Uncle Tom, lived with my grandfather and grandmother. And this guy went off to this other brother went off to California. And this one showed up probably near 100 years later. He was trying to look everybody up in St. Patrick's Cemetery.
I spent some time over there, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, a lot of the things that have been preserved, like if they wrote down the gravestone inscriptions 30 years ago, a lot of them aren't on the
Yeah.
legible anymore. But
But I know this Rob Rooney lives, well, I think if he lives in Georgia now. Him and Mike King, Mike was from Fairfax, and those guys.
oh yeah,
They really.
I know Mike King. He's
Yeah,
he's a distant cousin of mine.
Yeah, they
He's in
really get
Canada.
We're all
into it.
distant cousins.
Yeah.
Those of us who aren't from out of state, I guess. So, aside from the idea about, maybe once a month having a Saturday or Sunday afternoon for the space to be open, that was one thing I was thinking about. The other thing that's been coming up lately is just like to go down to, come here and digitize things. I actually have to take time off from work. So that's, the other part is like, if I was here on a weekend, I could do some of that stuff. But I also just didn't know if I could bring materials home with me to do it there, or if that's not possible. So I was wondering about that too.
Yeah,
I'm there on Tuesday and Thursday nights,
For the driver's ed. Yeah.
so you could, if the building's open then.
Oh, it is
If you're
open.
up to that, yeah, because I'm there for class, Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Oh, but there's a group of people down there, right?
In the outside room, not in the Historical Society space.
Oh, okay.
so
And if you were only gonna do it once a month, because your initial thing was 2 or 3 times a month, I can't commit to that, but once a month I'd probably do.
the Historical
Saturday.
Society is separate from the town, and all of the artifacts that are downstairs are really owned by the Historical Society, and you have your own separate nonprofit. So some of the questions about bringing things home and who has ownership and how you manage that collection is really more on your end to talk with your people to figure out if there are some parameters. We don't have anything right now.
And I don't care if you take it home, just FYI.
Okay.
She's on the Historical Society.
I mean, some of those books are from the 1800s,
Yeah,
so
no,
I'll be
they're-
very careful with them.
No,
Yeah,
but I think it should be documented if you take something
There
out.
should be some way of signing them
A
in,
paper
signing them out,
trail
some
somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
nature, so that somebody can say, where the heck is that book, or where'd it go?
Okay.
and I know that Tori was inventorying all of that stuff, so I'm sure that there's a list of somewhere of what's down there, so it would just be connecting the dots.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I asked them for. So I've got the master list, but then there's another box of stuff that's not even in the inventory yet, but,
Oh, well.
all right, well,
Good luck with it.
Wish you had some motivation behind him. You've been it's been pretty impressive to see what you've done in a short amount of time, so.
Well, thanks.
Great.
Thanks. It's really interesting work, so I like being able to serve that way.
Yeah, appreciate you getting involved with it, 'cause sometimes it sits idle for quite a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a really long time.
Maybe there's some way we could document it or certify him to do the security system where if he wanted it open on a Saturday afternoon or something by himself, I mean, because we could secure the downstairs and not let him come upstairs, right?
We would have to just assign him a key. We keep a log of who is assigned keys, and then they would need to come back to the office when they're not, when they're done. And I would give him the code for the doors so that he wouldn't open up and have a siren. Nobody wants that.
That would be fun.
So if you all give me that direction, I can assign him a key, but it would be something that I wouldn't want to do without your okay.
And you'd have use of the downstairs, is that what we're saying?
So once you have a key, you have
Access to the
the
whole
whole building. So you
With
just
the
wanna-
exception of the town clerk's
Right,
office,
right.
the zoning office,
Yeah.
and Kathy's office,
Right,
everything
all
else
of
is
those.
open.
Right.
So this is open.
But
We
it
could-
could be if you just open the back door, you can't do somewhere to secure
Well, you
this.
couldn't do that because there's no alarm pad downstairs.
Oh,
So as soon as you open a door, you have to come up and key in if it's an off
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm
time.
just saying, you
Yeah.
can open it that way, but I'm just
and
saying,
lock it up and go downstairs.
go
Yeah.
downstairs and.
You can't
And keep
lock
it
the
unlocked.
door at the top of the stairs, I don't think it locks.
Yes, so, one of, what I would suggest is we actually do have a room rental agreement for this room. I can just adapt it to include, making sure that you lock up and change the wording so that you're talking about the downstairs room. So that the agreement would be that you would use the key responsibly and monitor anybody that's in the building when you're there. That's the
Yeah.
real question, that's the real concern, is making sure that, nobody's sneaking upstairs and using the kitchen and making a mess or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely keep an eye out for that. But I could lock this door behind me though, so I
You
could just
could
have the
lock
door.
the outdoor.
Upstairs door,
Huh?
the door at the top of the stairs, you can lock from the stair side.
You can lock us out of the
Lock us out of
downstairs,
the downstairs.
but you can't lock the
You
downstairs
can't
people
lock the
out.
downstairs out of the upstairs.
That must be a fire thing.
Maybe, I mean,
We
this is
definitely
the
wanna
only
make
thing
it
that's,
easy
this
as
is the only
possible
room
for you,
that's
'cause,
accessible. And
just volunteer for that.
listers
Yeah.
That's huge.
we could lock the
task.
listers.
We're very thankful to have somebody to do something like that.
Yeah.
So,
So
Great.
would you like me to do that and just have them sign responsibility and give him a
Is
key?
that's what you're looking for, kinda?
Yeah, and I was thinking, aside from people being able to come by to see the museum, maybe people who are on the board might want to stop by to chat for a bit. So
Right.
kind of having a gathering place.
I think it'd be good at some point down the road if you had like if you're willing to have like Saturday mornings, it's open or whatever date or whatever down. Like Sheldon, Sheldon's they
Yeah.
do a pretty
They've got
good
it.
job with theirs.
At this point, we don't share the keys, though. That's the other thing we would have to figure out. If you had a key, but you wanted to be able to give it to somebody else on the Historical Society, I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't.
No,
That would get out
But I
of
think
the
something
scope
could
of what
look
we
into
usually
is
do.
Maybe putting the door down in foot of the stairs with a lock.
Yeah,
So you can just secure the bottom so he doesn't have to be monitoring it and then.
You'd have to fix the alarm
Yeah, we'd
system
have to
too then,
totally
because you
change
have to
No, but I'm
ask.
just saying he can access up through here, but then when the people are coming,
Oh, yeah, look,
he could have, it'd be just
Oh, I
secure,
see what you mean.
secure the bottom, so that's the only place they could go. They wouldn't be coming up here without, he would not be watching the stairway all the time.
Right,
that's a good idea.
You know, it's a
pain in the.
$500 or $600 door for a fix.
I can look into that.
Yeah. I'd certainly feel more at ease if I didn't have to keep an eye on people.
Something less, less you'd have to look
Yeah, it's a
at.
pain in the butt. I always have to check this door to make sure nobody came in here and,
Yeah.
We also have a capital improvement line for this building every year. that
How
we
much
put
good
money
job would
toward.
it be to put a keypad down there for the alarm
I
system?
don't know
I
anything
don't
about
know.
alarm systems.
We'd have to talk to Brink's Security and figure that out. I don't know.
It already has some,
It has a motion detector
it's got a
downstairs.
motion detector, which isn't functional.
But yeah, it broke this summer.
It'd be nice to be able to walk in down here,
Yeah.
unlock the door, and not be able to get upstairs. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be a big deal, I don't know.
Yeah, I can look into it.
okay.
Just find out.
Wiring.
And
Yeah.
Alyssa, if I wanted to come on, do you say Tuesdays and Thursdays to like scan stuff in there? What are the hours that?
6:30 to 8:30.
Okay, cool.
You have my phone number.
I got your email.
Let me give it to you.
Okay,
309-5076.
309-5076.
Best to text me, I never answer my phone.
Okay. And
But
this
she
is,
always checks her
Always in the
texts.
car. I'm always in the car, so I never answer.
all right.
Hands-free.
And, no, I don't do hands-free.
She has an automated
She's a
notice
teacher.
that she's
so
not
she
gonna
doesn't have
answer.
any,
Yeah.
gotta show
None of
good-
that
good-
phone business in my car.
Gotta show good examples.
Susie knows that. I had her kids.
I know.
Where are you?
Anything else?
Great.
I think that's about it.
Glad
So
you came in.
for
Thank
now,
you.
I can do some, scanning on.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
you
Thursday
can work on
evenings, or-
that.
I
too.
should send you my schedule.
And I'll look into
Actually,
this. This
wait,
other
I
stuff
might
is gonna
have
take just a little while, cause we're in the
Yeah.
middle of budget season, so I'm thinking maybe, can you wait until January? Is that okay? I mean, I
Yeah.
can work on it on the
I mean,
side,
it,
but
it
like,
doesn't make any sense to have that museum open
Okay.
until well after the holidays
yeah,
anyway.
okay, that's what I was thinking. I
Yeah.
don't wanna assume anything, but
Yeah.
thank you.
See if I have a copy of the schedule.
But we do have our budget meeting next week, so we could talk about, some of the capital ideas.
Is it on your website?
No, kidding me.
So,
Yeah, so-
Wednesday.
My
Next
website
Wednesday
there,
at
'cause
9
I have
o'clock.
some,
The
there's
budget
some
meeting is next
changes
Wednesday at 9.
Okay,
for, around the Christmas holiday time.
okay, cool. That'd be great, thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll remember to send you the one for the
Now
next
they
session,
changed mine.
because this only goes to
I
January.
think I can make
That
that
it's
now.
February through
Change my
April.
therapy around, so.
And that one stays mostly
Oh, what time
Tuesday,
is that?
Thursday.
It's
Okay.
on-
Well,
But I'll
no,
send
it
it
used to
to
be,
you.
but now they
Sounds
changed
great.
it, going
Thanks a
twice a
lot.
day, so now it's
No
Monday,
problem.
Thursday, or Tuesday and Fridays.
Oh.
Wednesday's open right now,
That's good, that's good. Worked out.
For what?
my therapy.
Well, thanks, everybody. Well, thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, good luck,
Thanks.
happy holidays.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Charlie.
You, make a motion to approve the minutes?
I haven't seen them, but,
They're on the other
They're on
side
the
of your
back side.
agenda.
oh,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. Give him, Ron a minute to read it.
Yes, Brian too, he did, oh, he wasn't here. He was here.
They got sent.
Oh, in attendance was Brian here last week? No, he wasn't here last week.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Tom made it, I seconded it, we're gonna vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Yep. Good enough, get that out of the way.
So I'm just taking a look at time, it's 8:13. The road foreman is not here, and I know that, Brian, you wanted to do some hazard mitigation planning discussion. And I have an administrator report, I wanted to give you an update on the budget before we get into the budget, the next year's budget, just to give you that's my whole town admin report. So,
And I'll be quick with mine.
Okay. So Brian, do you wanna do your mitigation thing now?
I can, yeah, I can. Did you wanna go first, Kathy, or? For your,
it doesn't matter, I mean, I just wanna make sure that I give you the overview of the budget.
okay,
That
well,
probably
I'll go
take
real
10
short and
minutes.
sweet. I've talked to, Northwest Regional Planning a little bit. and I've done quite a bit of research on what needs to be done. And Kathy and Dave and I have kind of sharing. And what I wanted to just go over tonight real quick, and it doesn't have to be a lot of discussion, but if you pull up the printout that Kathy should have shown to you or passed out. Does everyone have that, or?
I'm getting it right now, Brian.
I'll take
Okay.
that, I gave Brian,
I got it.
Oh, sorry.
we can pass it back.
Pass it back.
Okay, so this is, here's the important part, is this is from the 2020 plan, and this is a full summary of the hazard and impact on table 4.1. It's on page 14 of the approved 2020 Fairfield Hazard Plan. And I don't want to go into detail, I'm just gonna say, there's a footnote on the bottom here that all these hazards have to be consistent with what's in the state required VEMA plan, and they are. And what I was gonna propose to you is, the only column that we're gonna massage is the column of the cost of the impact, and that's some it's like the 1, 2, 3, the fourth column over, you can see some dollar values. That will update, but it's my opinion that Tom and Gavin and the people that were involved in the 2020 plan did a good job. And what I wanted to say is I reviewed these, and I think they're a great starting point for the update for the 2025 update. The assessments, I think, might be fine-tuned a little bit. And I just wanted to say, to kind of applaud the work that was done last time. And that was really my objective tonight, just to get kind of a consensus that, instead of writing something brand new, like I kind of talked about previous meetings, I think the most respectful thing to do is to take what was done before and modify it and make sure that it's, consistent with the new requirements for FEMA and VEMA. But tonight, and we do have a schedule that Dave, that we showed back in September, and in the December timeframe, just no motion or anything, but starting off with the top of summary of hazards, it's just a verbal consensus from the board members. This looks like it was done reasonably, and there was no major massage of the hazard types, and mostly get this discussion and your consensus of the direction on record in a minute. So that's going to complete my assessment and my recommendation.
So just to clarify, when we're looking at table 4.1 on the bottom of page 14, which is the first page that I gave you, that table starts with the hazard of severe winter storm, ice storm. If I'm looking at that first row, are you asking the select board to review that row and decide, or are you gonna just say, do the whole thing, like look at the whole thing and decide?
I'm saying the whole shebang.
Not going.
Yeah, it's not a heavy lift. What was done before was good. I mean, it was done well. And I'm just saying, unless anyone has any objections, we're gonna adopt this table with modifications going forward. But for tonight, I just say consensus from the board.
Yeah.
And solicit input. Anyone who's watching this on tape, it'll go in the minutes. And so I don't think there's a big discussion unless somebody says, oh, I feel strongly otherwise, so.
Gotcha.
No, I think that's perfect.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like a realistic way to go about it.
I think the only thing that looks is the dollar figure is probably gonna be changed. But
True. But we'll massage that, Ron.
yeah,
So we use this, so I'll make a motion, we use this as a starting point. That's what we want.
Does it need a motion, Brian?
I don't think so. I don't think so, Tom. Just a consensus of the board. Because this is gonna be a rolling, we're gonna try to do incrementally tables and, give the board planning, Melissa being there is important, Kathy being there, just a consensus. And for tonight, this is the objective. Just say, yeah, this looks reasonable. for the, approving what was done before, and we're gonna make some, edits going forward.
Yeah, dollar amounts for sure.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I
No, it
think
works
that-
for me.
I think it's pretty clear. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes that portion. Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Brian.
So I just think it's a good idea before we go into next week to look at the numbers for this year. And I can go through, there are some only like specific things that I think are interesting about this budget. Let me just make sure that I get my head on the right page here, hold on. My report is buried, I apologize. What did I do with my report? Too many pages. There we are, okay. So if we're going down through, just in terms of where we are at the moment, we're looking at a similar surplus from last year. So in, exceeding 100,000 is what I'm guessing at this point. We are just going down through the revenues. We're at 99% of tax revenue at this point, which is right on the money. In terms of miscellaneous revenues, if you go down to 10.5, it's the first line, 10.50025 under miscellaneous. That interest checking line is high. We budgeted 1,500, we have 11,900. And the reason for that is that we received $5,775 in interest just in November, because the sweep account is in that new IntraFi rating system. So that's good news. And we have had a higher interest rate all year. So also in terms of revenue, just going down to 10.525.62, the grant revenue state funds line, you'll see that it's under the 10,000 in expected revenue that we had planned. And the reason for that is 7,261. The reason for that is the project materials for our grant and the contracted services were higher this year, and that's budgeted separately in a grant budget number code. So we reimburse for staff time on this with this accounting. So that's basically why that is not going to be 10,000 this year. And just continuing to the next page in terms of revenue, in terms of miscellaneous revenue, you'll see that number $935 of actual revenue received is lower than what we expected. We're no longer receiving opioid money. So that is over, which means that we are gonna need to adjust that line moving forward into the next year. But we're at 95% of the total revenue that we expected for the year. And then we're underspent for expenses at this point, and we're gonna continue to be underspent.
Is that 95% gonna change? Is that gonna go up any?
It's gonna go up, yeah, because we still expect some delinquent tax revenue coming in and,
Okay.
you never, some of these fees, like, you don't really know until you know, so.
Okay, yeah, okay.
In terms of, so do you have any questions about revenues?
I'm good.
Okay. In terms of expenses, just going down, if you look at the advertising and publishing line 10.6.10.21 under select board. So go down to 21, it says advertising and publishing. You'll see that was higher this year. That is because we included the properties postings. And the legal amount is high at I think it was $12,555, which is just a little bit down. That we budgeted 8,000 and we spent 12,555. 80% of this is from the PUC legal counsel. And we do have one more invoice that's coming in for that. At least, I believe just one. Let's see. Then going down to town office, so there's nothing really other than that on the select board expenses that's off. So the total select board actual budget spent was 96%. So even with that high number on that legal line, you're still on track. Town office supplies, so 10,615, 25, which is on page 3 of 8. I'm sorry, page 2. No, sorry, page 3 of 8. Excuse me. That supplies line is $2,797. That's high. We budgeted $1,500 because the file clerk needed a new desk, and so that is in that line. And the postage, I'll talk about in just a minute, but even with that high expense, we're at 90% of the budget in this area too. So we're in good shape with that. Let me see, supplies. I think that was the only big one that I wanted.
It's all pretty even. So.
Yeah. In terms of auditors, if you go down to the supplies line for, postage shipping for the auditors, that number is actually the amount that's supposed to be for postage of the town reports. And last year we applied the amount for the town reports up in the town office postage line. So that's why we're underspent in the town office postage and we're overspent in this line. But in terms of transparency, it makes more sense to keep it in this line. So assessors, if you go to the second line under assessors, we're talking 10,625.12. That's the contracted assessor. That is really low and was budgeted by the town clerk. So I think in the next year, we're gonna have some changes in how we're gonna do things with assessors anyway, so we'll need to talk about that next week.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. Just going on into,
Full-time now, right?
what was that? So, I really am not sure exactly. Remember the first year we did the assessors thing, we budgeted 18,000. And I think this exact same number, and it was way underspent. And then last year when we were budgeting, we were like, do we really need to budget that again? And we were told, yes, we do. And again, it's just didn't happen. They're doing the work. I think the in-house assessor, Linda, is doing a lot of work. I think we just overestimated the amount of work that needed to get done and it would be charged to us.
Well, I think
Charged hourly for what they actually do, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but they're full-time, it's gonna be probably worse next year with Linda gone, so.
Yeah, but she still wants to be your
Oh,
auditor.
We do need to decide. I mean, I think that there has to be
Someone in-house.
a staffed in-house person.
Just to deal with all that current use.
Right, exactly.
Well, you guys will have to decide.
We do have a employee. Do you need to talk about an employee? Because what were you gonna say? Do you wanna wait?
that's not public.
Nothing. No, I'm just saying that next year there is gonna be a change in the way we budget for the contracted service of NEMRIC to do the assessor position. And that money right now, we're in that line where, just to be clear, we budgeted 18,000 and we spent less than 2,000. So we have to, when we're moving forward, figure out what that's gonna look like. Under zoning, the zoning is wonky because we had a vacancy, so out of the 27,000 salaried, we spent 13. because the position was vacant. And then in terms of advertising, we budgeted 750 and we spent 3,755. So that's purely because of that vacancy.
Is that going well?
Yes.
Oh, she's great. Yeah,
She happy or he happy? I forget
she's
now.
she's happy.
It's a woman,
Yeah.
and yes, yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, so later in the meeting, we do have an executive session to discuss personnel for a variety of reasons, so we can definitely pull.
Wow, we just,
But she's
if
happy.
I don't do it when I think about it, I'll forget about it.
I
Yeah, no,
wrote it
she's
down.
happy, she's
Pardon?
great.
I wrote it down.
Let's see, miscellaneous, under zoning as well, 10-6-30-99, that one is high because last year, remember we were doing the bylaws, they underspent last year, so we're overspending this year, and there was a little delay. And I'm not sure exactly how that played into the cost of NRPC to facilitate that process. But we did underspend last year because they hadn't completed the project. In terms of the municipal building, 10-6-51-41, 10-6-51-41, so that's still on page, it's on the back side of the page. So you'll notice that we did spend out of the repairs and maintenance and the capital improvements lines. And just to remind you, those were the shelves and the floors, the shelves in in the vault, and then the floors in the town clerk's office. Chester's Bakery, that 1,000 budgeted there came to 1,200, and that's because the cost of septic pumping and cleaning is increasing. So that's all that is. That invoice came to that.
So when they do that, I don't know if they did it, but
They steam it, and then they also
they steam where it goes up into the field.
yeah, they steam it and they clean the grease trap and
Yeah.
they pump the septic.
You just gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure to do that. I make sure to schedule that every year and that they know the three things that we're looking for. Let's see, cemeteries. So just a reminder that this year the cemetery costs went up. That was approved by you guys during the year because of his increased prices. Parks each, just looking at the 10-6-54-99 line. So we just changed pages here. So that's the miscellaneous line under parks and beaches. And I just want to point out that that's where the dam maintenance is being charged right now. So if you're wondering what that is, that's the dam. And that includes just, making friends with beavers and unclogging stuff. Community center building, we're still expecting an invoice from them, from the Community Center Association for the bathroom. So that amount of 3,500 we'll be getting an invoice for that. So then if we just keep going down to the next page, on the next page for I'm actually in appropriations. You'll notice that the fire department appropriation has not been awarded yet or given out yet. It was approved, and in the town report on the warning, the approval is dependent on an audit report that comes to me every year. I haven't received that yet.
You already received it because Jan Price screwed up and didn't get the 501c thing done for them. They were supposed to.
Oh, they're the ones who are doing their audit for
Part of, and something they were supposed to have gotten done last year, they didn't get it done. This is what Dave told me, so that's why they haven't got the audit back yet.
So in the meantime, this is a separate amount on our warning, and it has a thing that says that we're not supposed to pay it until we get an audit report. And the auditors, the internal auditors are the ones who give us that report. So they haven't looked over. Our internal elected auditors are the ones who look at their books. And then those internal auditors, Mrs. Persons is one of them, reviews their books and gives me a letter and says, you're all set to go.
But I think they've been waiting for this thing to be finished.
Yeah.
Be in place.
So the worst case scenario is that we wait until it comes and it comes next year. But at this point, it's not gonna be, coming out of that line until we have the authority to do so.
Almost have to take some out of the savings or something, you know?
Right, well, I know Dave was down talking to him about it, that's when they discovered they had corrected something they were gonna do last year. Somebody overlooked it, something happened, I'm not sure what. And so, that's why they hadn't got back to him yet.
Okay. So we'll just wait and see what happens there. Just a heads up.
I'd make a motion to let it go by.
Well, if they are short and need money, I'd agree to it because, but that is, I think that got put in there a few years ago when East Fairfield, nobody seemed to be able to fully account for their funds. And then when they did, it was a fair amount of money and then they used it towards a new truck when it became just one unit.
Yeah. And they have been every year good. The internal auditors have been good about giving that to me and telling me it's gonna go.
I'm just saying, if, push came to shove, I would make a motion.
You could suspend it 1 year.
Suspend that, line it back.
I can look into what happens if we do that on a warning, because it was a separately voted warning that said specifically.
But I'm just saying,
So-
I wanna keep them up and going.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't want them to shut the thing down for
Right.
a month till they get this permit. I think it's
Well,
501c.
again, like I'm not sure that it'll become a surplus, right, for next year. And then if they end up giving me something in February or whenever it's resolved, we just give them that appropriation because it's been approved to do so.
Yeah,
And then
well,
we'll
they must
explain
be-
it,
They must be using surplus, not surplus, but
Some of the funds they got
CDs
just
or
operate.
savings or something.
Just operate.
Yeah, it'll come, it'll come. I think it's.
No, but I'm just, rather than make a hassle for them, like, we
Yeah.
could
Right.
simplify it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just take that off the line.
But that's how that got put in there.
Well, I think the line's all right to have, but I'm just saying for this year, so they can get put near the end of the year. or something.
I really think, so what we could do is, before the end of this year, if I haven't gotten the invoice, I could just transfer that amount into a side account. There is a Fairfield Fire Department account.
Yeah.
We never ever use it, but it would be a transfer out of that amount into the fire department
Yeah.
account, and then
Yeah.
we can just wait and see, and we can pay it from that account. But I don't think it's, in terms of accounting on our end and making that payment, I agree, we can make the payment and we can do the accounting that we need to do to make it
Right,
work,
right.
but, it's just a zero at this point.
Rather than put it in one of our accounts, I'd rather put it into theirs.
Yeah, for sure. Well, just in terms of accounting, like, making sure that the end of the year looks right. Oh, let's see, where are we? I'm sorry, this is boring, I apologize. Auditors, assessors, zoning, municipal parks, community center, appropriations. We're almost there. Winter maintenance. So, I know that you like to see where we're at with salt and winter sand. We're on the money, basically. We're a little overspent in salt and underspent in sand. I do expect us to be more overspent in salt by the end of this month.
Went up a little bit, but we anticipated some.
Yeah.
I don't know if we anticipated enough, and it all depends on the year, how much you use.
Right.
Yeah, we got more
This-
snow
this
now
year
than we
is-
did last year
And,
by February.
Yeah,
yeah, and every little storm, a little storm uses just as much as the big ones.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of little storms where they've had to keep the main roads. They do a good job of that.
yeah, they are.
It looks kind of sad when 36 and Barrel go down at north-south road or Bayer. Both the last Sunday it was that way.
So I know between those two, we're gonna be a little over, but I think we're still on target.
Yeah.
In terms of construction, you know that we went over in blasting, but that was approved for Metcalf Pond. So that was budgeted 5 and we spent 12.7. In terms of materials, which is the 10, 7, 30, 47, we're underspent in materials at this point. That's stone and mostly stone and not gravel. Anything that's not gravel, you know, or winter sand. Because the next line is gravel. We're underspent in gravel this year. Not really sure why, but that's what it is. So again, we're still on track. In terms of equipment, the debt retirement under 10,750.90. That debt retirement includes we paid off the 2023 truck, and then we paid 31,620 out of this line for the 2025 truck, and then we paid the balance of the 2025 truck out of the equipment fund. So we're in good shape with that truck. It's all paid.
You're talking this Ford 600?
No, I'm talking the 2025 truck that was delivered this year.
The Freightliner we just got.
Yeah, the one that came this year. And actually, if you want to look, I can bring it next time too, but I did bring just the accounting for specifically the equipment fund, but we don't have to do that right now if you don't want to. And then just the town garage in terms of contracted services, 10,760.46. Bugby is coming in next week to do the installation. So that's next Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe. So that will be not zero next year, next month, the next AP. So that's my quick and,
Good.
you
Have a
know,
little surplus.
I'm not
Put
sure.
some into paving, but we'll have to see how our budget comes out.
Yep.
If we overspend it a little bit.
So
Are we
this
gonna
is-
use the same paper for?
Oh, no, I'm gonna give you a new one. It'll be different next week, cause you know, it'll have more lines and better place to write.
Hopefully a little brighter.
And I'm gonna use the 2-line version, which is what Amanda told me to use last year. After the fact, I gave you way too many pieces of paper. And she said, you know, you can just use 2 lines on 1 piece of paper. I was like, no, I didn't know that. So I know a format that's gonna be easier. The equipment fund, I don't know if you want this, it's just the income over expenses specific to the equipment fund. It's just, basically what you approved this year anyway.
Let's get moving along. We do that on next
Yeah,
Wednesday,
it's
right?
not necessary.
Yep.
That's my whole report, except, I did wanna just mention the PUC oral argument was last Friday. The budget meeting is next week at 9 a.m. on Wednesday.
And we don't know how that came out, the oral argument.
No, I have my impression, but I'm not sure if I should say.
No, not gonna this
So
time.
I think it
Maybe
was,
executive session or something.
Yeah.
it went, and we'll know what the result is later. They haven't come up with a result, so. In terms of AP, new laptops received, and the first payment for the Blue Cross Blue Shield year 2026 is in this AP, but it's applied to a prepaid expense line, so you won't see it as part of this year's expenses. It's for next year's expenses for January, and that's it.
Thank you. Melissa?
Zoning bylaw update, we finally approved the change that, small size subdivisions, 2-lot subdivisions will not be subject to, conservation resources. Like you don't have to
They can't
look at
cite
your
the
ag
house on-
soil.
Yeah, good.
Finally, you have to have a public hearing for that, which needs a 15-day warning, which would put us the first meeting in January, but Emily Cloft is not available that day. So if you want her in attendance, then it needs to be the second meeting in January, so January 26th.
And the first meeting in January, we're having the hearing for, an already scheduled hearing for the Sherman Road throw up.
Okay, so January 26th
Okay.
is when that will be. There's a new, and that's all there is to say about that. It's like it's done, finally. There's a new method for selecting a town health officer that's much more complicated and
course it is.
requires like a lot of more paper. So the health department will send reminders to the select board via email, so I'll get that 60 and 30 days before the current THO's term ends, and I don't remember when my term ends, maybe March, April, something like that. So I'll get the email, I'll do all the paperwork, and I'll bring it to you. There's an online recommendation form that you have to complete about the person you're recommending to do the job.
Are you interested still?
Yeah, fine. That's fine. I mean, I won't be offended if you choose someone else, but I'll do it. So then there's this, then there's an oath, the recommendation form, the oath, and then the select board chair has to confirm everything is fine, and then that all goes to the health department. So I'll monitor the email, and as soon as I get it, I'll put it all in motion.
I wonder if people want to do things in small towns.
Well, you know, it's hard enough to get people to do things, because, I mean, I have a few jobs in town.
Maybe we could talk to our town representative, say, you could simplify this.
Would
It's
not
just getting
be
more and more
simpler.
complicated.
I mean, it just,
It really
it's
is.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't disagree with
It's
you.
ridiculous.
I have to break into the
I mean,
pin
really,
bank just
that's all
to
I
pay the
have.
taxes.
We do have,
it's
an
really-
executive, a quick executive session for personnel.
Yeah, let's
I
do,
don't-
someone make a motion to approve the warrants and
I
get
will.
that done.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants.
Okay, Tom will second it. Anything you want to discuss before we take a vote? Not? All in favor?
Good.
All right,
We got that one done. So we could go into executive session now. Is this,
Yeah, I
any
don't-
decisions? or
I don't think any, well, I don't think any decisions because we
No,
will-
it's just an.
If anything, it would
an
be a
information only.
and also will be a discussion, there will be a discussion at our next meeting, the next Wednesday, the budget meeting.
Okay.
So this will kind of inform some of that too.
We've hit all the other stuff set for this
Yep.
executive session, correct?
Yeah.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so